Okay, we are live. Welcome, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, wherever you may be. Welcome to the pre-market overview for Monday, July 13th. So welcome with me this morning. My name's Becky, just in case you didn't know, that's me. My email address is becky@tradewithufos.com. So if you have any questions on anything I cover today, you can email me on that. However, as always, the support team are always best, much quicker at responding, so you can email those guys at support@tradewithufos.com. So just to explain for those that have never been with us on the overview before, what is it that we do? What we're going to be doing is going through our newsletter. So the newsletter, if you don't already have it, if you're not already part of the subscription, if you email us, newsletter@tradewithufos.com, we'll get you on that subscription. And then the document that I go through today, you'll have access to it every day, obviously as it updates. On a daily basis, you'll get that sent out to you. So in the newsletter, what we do is we go through 4 of the major markets in the world. We discuss the direction that they're traveling, how long they're likely to travel in that direction for, where they might turn, volatility, and also news that could impact the markets. And we cover all of that in the overview in about 15-20 minutes. So a lot to do. So what I'll do, I'm going to read the disclaimers. Before I do that, I'm just going to highlight here for those that are joining us from inside the Tradictive channel. Today being a Monday, we have a future session at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then we will have an option session at 1 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully we'll see you guys on those sessions today. You can obviously see throughout the week, we have different sessions on different days. So we have stocks and investing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have sharpening sessions over the weekend. What sharpening sessions normally are going over methodology, certain concepts, and psychology sessions as well, which as far as we're all concerned at Tradictive, psychology is one of the most important things that you can hope to master when it comes to your trading. So being part of those sessions is so helpful. In terms of courses that we have coming up, the next course that we have is the backtesting class that will be this weekend. So that's July 18th to 19th. If you don't know what backtesting is, what it means is taking a strategy and rather than going forwards into time to see whether or not it works and wait to see what happens, you can test it to the past to figure out whether or not it should be a strategy you should be trading. So I'll be teaching that course. That's over the weekend. After that, we'll have the futures course later on in the month, and then stocks earlier on in August, psychology, and then trading plans throughout August as well. So I'll let you guys have a look at those dates whilst I read the disclaimers, and then we'll crack on. Okay, so the following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. The following presentation is for educational purposes only. All the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for demonstrating and are not recommendations. Active options and futures trading carries a high degree of risk and may not be suitable for all traders. Past historical trading performance of real or simulated trading does not guarantee success and may not be indicative of future results. You Can Trade is an online media publication service which provides educational investment content and ideas along with live trading demonstrations and does not provide investment or trading advice, research or recommendations of any kind. Please visit www.youcantrade.com for additional disclosure information. Right, now we've got that mouthful out of the way, let's have a look at the newsletter. So this is what will be sent out to you if you're subscribed to it. Like I said, you can email us newsletter@tradewithufos.com if you would like to be part of that subscription. So we'll see here, like I said before, we go through 4 of the major markets in the world. So I'm just going to highlight them here. We have the S&P, one of the major equity indices in the world, or indexes. We have oil and gold, obviously both commodities, oil obviously being in the form of energy and gold in the form of metal. And then we have the euro, one of the biggest currencies in the world. In fact, the euro US dollar, which is where we get the data here for the euro, is the highest traded pair in the world, and Forex is the highest traded asset class in the world. So lots of orders move through that. The US dollar by itself is responsible for 80% of transactions that happen worldwide every single day. So pretty fair to say we've covered quite a lot of what goes on out there in the markets. Hopefully, even if you don't trade these specific markets, what you trade will be correlated to them. So something to get from this. You'll also see we're going through the daily chart, the daily time frame for each of these markets. Again, of course, different time frames. So this doesn't necessarily reflect stuff that's going to happen on monthly charts or 5-minute charts, but hopefully the daily falls somewhere into the analysis that you do. So what we're going to go through for each of these markets, and I'll go through them one by one, is we're going to understand the climate. What we mean by climate is basically trend. In what environment are we going in? Are we moving upwards or are we moving downwards? Propagating, which means if we are moving upwards, how long can we expect to keep moving upwards? If we're moving downwards, how long can we expect to keep moving downwards? Obviously, trends don't last forever. So we want the stats on how long we're likely to go in that direction. For both of these figures, we use the AutoClimate app, a piece of technology, an indicator, if you will, that finds these figures for us and lets us know that. We're also going to look at nearest UFOs. UFO, for those that don't know, means unfilled orders. So what we mean by unfilled orders is where we expect there to be a big stack of buy orders that could push price up, or a big stack of sell orders that could push price down. And we use the Auto UFO app to help us identify this on a chart and highlight to us where there's likely to be these orders that could turn price. What we'll also do is go through volatility, which is basically how quick these markets are expected to move. And then we'll come down here and talk about news and high impact things that could impact the markets as well. Okay, so I'm going to go through it one by one. We'll start with the S&P. You'll notice the symbol that we're using, the chart symbol we're using is SPX.X. So let's go to that. Here we go. So this is SPX.X, the S&P. So you see at the bottom, this is our AutoClimate app. So the AutoClimate app is showing us a thick blue dot. So what that means, being blue, the AutoClimate app is telling us that the climate is up. And being a thick dot, it's telling us that the climate is confirmed. Basically, that we have more probabilities on our side if we were to follow that trend in terms of trading. Now, closest UFOs, closest buy UFOs, where we expect there to be orders that could turn price back up, is just here, literally just underneath current price. So the numbers for that are 3176.17 to 3115.17. That's the closest stack of buy orders that the Auto UFO app has picked up that could turn price back upwards. Then we have the closest sell UFO just here, just above current price at 3207.18 to 3233.13. So it'll be interesting to see there. We're very close to two forces there, kind of going off against each other. Big stack of sell orders, big stack of buy orders. Climate is pointing to the upside. So it'll be interesting to see there what happens out of those things. Coming back to the newsletter, like we said before, yes, we have a confirmed upwards climate. We can see that there because we have a green arrow pointing upwards, not my red arrow pointing to it, but the one I'm pointing to. So that tells us we're in a confirmed upwards climate, meaning we have probabilities of going to the upside. What we also want to understand is how long is it going to keep doing that? So that's where we come to the propagating figures, these numbers here. Now, just by the way, whatever the number is here, I'm always going to round it up to the next number. So for example, this top one, I'm going to say 11. Okay, so all of them I'm going to round up. So what we see here with the propagating figures is that the S&P normally goes up for 11 candles on a daily chart. And we are on candle number 7. So what this means is that we are just over halfway into the average or normal movement of the S&P moving to the upside. So that's not to say that it's definitely going to keep going and reach that number, reach 11. It obviously could turn before that, especially if it does hit sell UFOs that pushes us back down again. It could surpass that. It's all to do with probabilities and statistics and putting as many odds in our favor as possible. At the moment, we have odds in our favor with a confirmed climate. We have odds in our favor that climate is likely to still continue for a few days. However, we are in between those two stacks of orders. So again, be interesting to see how that plays out. So coming down here for the S&P, let's understand volatility. So I'm just going to take a second to just explain what we mean by that for those that might not know. So volatility basically means how far we expect price to move within given periods of time, or how fast price could move. Now we get the numbers from the options of these markets. So options are traded by mainly professional traders, especially in these major markets. When they're buying and selling the option and therefore setting the price of it, inherent in what they're willing to buy and sell it for is the risk they are willing to take on that option, which is inherent into how fast they think the price will move. So basically, the price of the option reflects the opinion of professional traders as to how fast it will move, and we get the volatility figures from the option. So basically, the figures I'm about to go through show us what professional traders think in terms of the movement that we are likely to see on these markets. Now, so you'll see here that for the S&P, we use the symbol VIX, VIX.X. That's where we get the figures from. And all of the figures here under current implied volatility, they're all percentages and they're all done annualized. So what that means is, I'm just going to change the color back here. Here we go. that for the S&P in 1 year, we would expect a movement either up or down on that market within 1 year of 27.77%. So that's the movement we would expect in 1 year, again, based on what professional traders think. Now, obviously, we're going to trade over different time frames, so we're going to reverse engineer that to understand what that might look like over different time periods. So we have the daily expectation here, which is showing us that we would expect a movement on the S&P up or down of 55.72 points in 1 day. In 1 week, we would expect a movement up or down of 122.66 points. That's in 1 week. And then over here, we would expect a movement up or down of 255.33 points in 1 month. Again, just gives us an idea of how far these markets are likely to move, either up or down within these given time periods. Okay, so that's the S&P. Let's move on to oil. So for oil, the chart that we're using for oil is at CL. That is the continuous futures contract for oil. So let's take a look here at CL. Okay, I'm just going to manipulate the chart a little bit here so we can see everything we need to see. Obviously, being in the middle of our two UFOs here might be a little bit scrunched at the bottom, but I'll explain it as we go. So once again, we have our auto climate app at the bottom here, which is showing us a thick blue dot, so a confirmed upwards climate. Now, closest buy UFO is here. You'll see it's just nestled on top of another one. So we've got two sort of overlapping here. The numbers for the top one are 25.87 to 25.36. That's where we would expect there to be buy orders that if price were to get down to there, would push it back up again. Then we have our closest sell UFO up here, 53.39 to 55.27. That's where we expect there to be sell orders that could push price back down if price were to get up there. And as we can see, we haven't really done anything for a little while, and we're right there in the middle, pretty much halfway between those two stacks of orders. And again, we haven't really seen, if we look at that with price, hasn't really moved very much for the last week or so. Again, with no orders close by to really move it one way or the other. So coming back to the newsletter here, so we can see we have our climate here. I think it was probably unconfirmed this morning, so we have a little cross there to say it was an unconfirmed climate. Now, in terms of how long it could keep going in that direction, what we see here is that normally oil would go up for 7 candles. Once again, rounding that up, 7 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 1, which means we have odds in our favor that it could continue, that it could keep going upwards, because we're only at the start of what is normal or what is probable or statistical for this market going up continuously. So again, we'll see how that plays out. Of course, sometimes things don't always go that way, but we do have the odds in our favor on that side of things. But bear in mind, we have no UFOs at the moment anywhere near close to price. Of course, UFOs could come into the markets. We could have new orders that come into the market that move it significantly up or down. We'll have to see about that, but nothing at the moment that the auto UFO app is picking up in terms of movement there on oil. Now, to understand how much we would expect oil to move, we're coming down here to the volatility figures again. And we are using OVX.X. That's the chart that we use to get this information. So in 1 year, we would expect a movement on oil up or down of 49.71%. That's the annualized number, which means a movement in 1 day up or down of 1.25 points, a movement in 1 week up or down of 2.75 points, for a movement in 1 month up or down of 5.72 points. Okay, again, just give us an idea how fast oil is likely to move based on the opinion of professional traders. Okay, so coming back up here, we are looking at gold. That's the next market we'll look at, and we're using at GC. So once again, the continuous futures contract for it. Just going to go to a different tab here to look at gold. There we go. There we go. So we can see everything again. Brilliant. So once again, thick blue dot on our auto climate app telling us we are in a confirmed upwards climate. We have our closest buy UFO here, 1668.3 to 1647.0. That's where we expect there to be buy orders that would push price up. And that's actually exactly what it's already done. We can see there price hit it a few weeks back now and pushed price up, and it hasn't come back down since. That's exactly what we expect buy UFOs to do, is to push price upwards. Still on the chart, so still a valid UFO. Closest sell UFO is up here. Looks like we're on the way to it at the moment. 1863.6 to 1879.0. Closest stack of sell orders that we think could turn price back down. Now, when it comes to the climate here on gold, remember I said sometimes things fall outside of probabilities. Well, we see that here, very much so. So what we see here is that normally gold would go up for 6 candles. Again, rounding that up. 6 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 23, consistently to the upside. So we are clearly multiple times overextended as to what is normal, what is statistical, what is probable. Now, it obviously could keep doing that. Bear in mind, the longer we go past those stats, the more we pull that elastic band, the more likely it is to come crashing back in on itself, okay? So the longer we go in one direction, the less likely we are to keep going in that direction. And that's what the propagating figures there help us to figure out. Now, we've been saying this for obviously a few days now that we've been massively overextended, and we keep going up. So it would be really interesting to see how long we keep doing that until it finally changes direction, or finally sort of peters out when it comes to climate. But we do have a confirmed upwards climate. So probabilities on that side, but less probabilities when it comes to sustainability. And we know from our UFOs that we've got nothing really below us at the moment for buy UFOs, quite a way back down, coming up to a sell UFO right now. So again, be interesting to see how that plays out. So in terms of movement we expect on gold, we are looking at GVZ.X, or if you're American, GVZ.X. We are expecting a movement up or down in 1 year on gold of 16.64%, which means in 1 day, we would expect a movement up or down of 19 points. In 1 week, a movement up or down of 41.8 points. And in 1 month, a movement up or down of 87.1 points. Okay, last but not least, let's come on to the euro. Like I said before, we're using the euro US dollar. That's the spot forex of this market that we're going to take a look at now. Euro USD. Okay, once again, I'm just going to move the chart so we can see the UFOs we need to see. There we go. Okay, so 4th market in a row that we can see a confirmed upwards climate, a thick blue dot once again. We have our closest stack of buy UFOs just below current price at 1.1252 to 1.1184. Just rounded that to where it needs to be to the closest pip. And as we can see, it's already been hit quite a few times and keeps pushing price up. It comes back down, pushes price up, it comes back down. Again, we would expect buy UFOs to push price up. So again, be interesting to see now it's been hit a few times, whether or not that stands. Then we have our closest sell UFO just up here, 1.1740 to 1.1816. That's where we have the closest stack of sell orders that could push price back down again. And as we see, we're quite a way away from that. So in terms of propagating for this market, once again, overextended, although by nowhere near as much as gold is. So we can see here, the euro US dollar would normally go up in an upwards direction or an upwards climate for 4 candles on a daily chart. And we're on candle number 6. It's about 50% overextended. Again, nothing to say that we can't keep pushing that. We've seen it on gold. We can keep pushing those stats, but it's improbable. Okay, so again, it's all to do with statistics and probability. So we are losing some probabilities here that this climate is likely to continue, although we do have a confirmed upwards climate, which gives us probabilities. We've just come off of that buy UFO multiple times as well. So again, looking to the upside, like we have more probabilities, but we'll see what happens in the markets in terms of impact news or new orders that come in. Okay, so in terms of volatility, so we're looking at EVZ.X. That's what the chart we use to look at volatility for the euro. And we are expecting a movement up or down in 1 year of 6.71%, which means a movement up or down in 1 day of 48 pips. A movement up or down in 1 week of 105 pips, or a movement up or down in 1 month of 220 pips. So again, the volatility figures give us an idea of how fast we expect markets to move, either up or down. The climate and the propagating gives us an idea of in what direction they're likely to move and for how long. And the UFOs give us an idea of where price is likely to move or to change and potentially move that climate. Okay, so we're just going to come down and we're going to understand the news that's upcoming this week that could impact us. Again, we'll review this every day, but we show you a weekly view here on each of the newsletters. Now we can see that we've got nothing coming out today. The next high impact news we have on US markets will be tomorrow, July 14th. Just to say, we have gone to this website in order to get this information. So it's www.fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. We filter by high impact news and we filter by US markets. So if you trade markets outside the US, or if you want to look at news that has a lesser impact, you can go to that website and sort of play about with the filters there to see what fits your trade plan better. So in terms of high impact news on the US markets, like I said, we've got Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. That's when we're going to have high impact news that we know is going to be coming out. We see on the left the time of day that it will be coming out. This is all Eastern Standard Time. Once the information has come out, it's usually filled in into this actual column. So if you see a figure there, that means the data's already out. We already know what happened with it. If it's blank, then we don't know. Obviously, the week is yet to happen, so that's why this is blank here. Now, bear in mind with news and with high impact reports that, yes, it might be high impact, but news is an indirect force on the markets. The most direct force on whether price goes up or down is buy and sell orders. It's that simple. So, of course, the news can impact the amount of buy or sell orders, but it is one of the reasons that there could be buy or sell orders, not the reason. So bear that in mind, but obviously use it in your trade plan with however makes the best sense to you. And like I said, if you want to filter and look at different things that are more relevant to your trade plan, then you can go to that link there and have a play around with it. Okay, so a couple of reminders before we round off. If you're not already part of the Tradective channel where you join us for our sessions every day, you can join at www.tradective.com/you-can-trade. There is a free 14-day access to the channel, so you can try us out for a couple of weeks, see if it makes sense to you first before doing anything further, if that makes sense to you. Looks like, oh, it says upcoming trading plans course, but it's actually the backtesting course is the next one. So it'll be www.tradective.com/backtesting live should be. So try that out. Of course, so we've got a trading plan course coming out in August as well. So you can click on that and have a look through that, no problem. Okay, so if you have any questions, as normal, just email us support@tradective.com. If you I don't know, have questions about the technology or about what we've gone over, or if something's confusing, no worries, just email us. We're always happy to help. We'll see you today in the future sessions and option sessions that we have, 9 a.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Eastern respectively. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and today at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, my colleague Boyan will be taking a look at what did happen. Did we see gold keep pushing to the upside? Did we see the movement that we expected, or were things sort of outside of statistics there? And then, like I said, I'll be back in the morning. So have a good day, guys. Hope you have a good trading day, good trading week. Hope you had a good weekend.